Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. So, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our very first LinkedIn Live, where we'll be discussing how to go digital with your business by elevating your online strategy and capitalizing on an effective e-commerce and service experience. My name is Jessica White, and I'm a senior digital marketer for the Northridge Group. Northridge is a management consulting firm specializing in quality monitoring, data analytics, telecom, customer experience, and of course, also digital marketing. And a little bit about me, I work both internally for Northridge and also externally with clients to help identify digital marketing opportunities and also implement initiatives that improve online brand recognition through SEO, social media, content marketing, and just overall digital performance. And joining me today is my colleague, Pam Plyler.
Thanks, Jessica. So it's a pleasure to be with you all today. I am the Executive Practice Lead of Customer Experience at the Northridge Group, and we help our clients design, develop, and implement strategies to create a differentiated experience for their customers and also improve their operational effectiveness. So we look forward to sharing some best practices with you today and engaging in an online dialogue to hear about some of your unique challenges and answer any questions you may have from our session.
Thanks, Pam. So with that being said, we encourage you to utilize the chat feature by posting any questions you may have about our presentation material over the course of our presentation or just about Northridge in general. We'll be responding to all your questions once our LinkedIn Live session has ended, and we'll also be posting a document in the conversation thread of this event page shortly after the presentation. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. So let's just rewind a little bit to life before COVID-19. Online shopping and customer experience had become accessible enough that many people were already feeling comfortable accessing and kind of working in these systems. And customers had become more in control of how they engage with companies, and many brands began placing more emphasis on making sure customers were able to find them. Additionally, there had been a rise in popularity, not just with B2C companies, but also with B2B companies looking to move away from face-to-face meetings and attract customers through more of a digital process. But then, of course, COVID hits, all of our usual shopping methods go out the window, and digital interactions become more important than ever before. So kind of the combination of scarcity of certain items and just general health awareness forced a lot of shoppers to turn to online sources to get the things that they typically shop for in store. So whether that might be toilet paper or purchasing groceries to be delivered to your home, you most likely turn to some sort of online source to make a purchase this year. And really, you're not alone. 87% of shoppers have learned about a brand through a digital source, and 80% of customers complete a shopping experience without ever talking face to face with another person. So this is really a bit more normalized for us now. So what exactly does this mean for businesses? If you're reliant on a more traditional model of selling your products or services, it's definitely time to shift your budget to match customers' digital expectations. Customers really want a seamless experience with minimal touch points. So businesses also need to focus on expanding and improving self-service options and making sure that both their purchasing processes and customer service processes are easy. So what exactly is digital marketing and how does it help with this? Digital marketing is a cyclical process. First, you attract your customers, you convert them into a potential shopper, close the sale with the customer, and hopefully, if you did a great job, they'll want to continue working with you and visit your brand again. And really, the benefit of digital marketing is being able to reach your targeted customer when you need to in a cost-effective way. And while there are a lot of digital channels out there that exist to help boost your brand, at Northridge, we really like to focus on four key pillars that encompass most digital marketing efforts. And so the first one would be SEM, which is typically the first digital marketing channel that potential customers use to discover your brand. Search engine marketing is more of an umbrella term that includes SEO, commonly known as search engine optimization, and also paid search ads. And when optimized properly, SEM can help distinguish your brand from competitors and also ensure that the right customers are getting in touch with your company. So going hand in hand with SEM is your website. Once customers discover your brand, they're going to want to do some more research to get a feel for you and learn about your brand. So your website really operates as a virtual storefront and allows customers to take a deeper dive into what kind of services or products you offer and just to get a general vibe of your company. Really, it's the face. Your website is really the face of your company. It's a vehicle for conversions, and it's also a portal into other digital marketing channels that you offer. Our third pillar, social media, has a dual function in that it both helps attract customers, a lot like SEM, and it also helps to keep them engaged. And social media is also a great way to meet your customers where they already are and target them based on their interests. And then lastly, email and content marketing allow customers to follow and keep up to date with any new products or services that you offer. And this is really more of a broad pillar. It can include some channels like blogs, emails, or text message marketing. And it really ties in with the other pillars because it works to boost the efforts of the others. So I'll be diving a little bit deeper into each of these four pillars and explain kind of the benefits and key metrics of each one. So the first pillar, your website. Your website is your brand's number one marketing and customer service asset. It should highlight who you are, what you offer, and what makes you stand out from everyone else. Having a website brings brand credibility, it creates a connection between customers, and it's also storage space for rich digital content that boosts your SEO efforts. And websites really operate as a pathway for continued engagement between your brand and your customer. They're also content rich, and if optimized properly, can boost revenue and act as a conversion site for your customers. So some things to consider when you're monitoring the success of your website are the number of visitors your website receives. Is there a high rate of new sessions, or are you mostly receiving new repeat visitors? Do visitors come to your website and immediately leave it? That could be a reflection of maybe poor engagement, or maybe the relevancy of your content just isn't there. Do visitors click through to other pages on your website? And how long do visitors spend on your website? All of these things can be tracked on a free tool like Google Analytics. It's very simple to use. You essentially just add the code onto your website and you'll be able to track a lot of this data just through that one platform alone. Secondly, search engine optimization, more commonly referred to as SEO, is a way to organically drive free traffic to your website from your targeted audience through a search engine, most likely being Google. In contrast, search engine marketing drives traffic to your website using a paid ad on a search engine that's based on relevant keywords that closely relate to what your target audience is searching for. And SEM is really an important tool when you're just getting your SEO efforts in motion, or you have a lot of online competitors that you want to distinguish yourself from. But really both work to drive prospective customers to your website based off information and keywords that they're already searching for online. And also tracking how your customers search for your products or services provides you with some better ways to market to your customers, and also provides insight on what products or services they're most interested in. So for example, imagine you own a rug company. You might have a listing on your website that uses the keyword runners, but then after doing some keyword research, you find that the majority of online people are searching for a hallway rug, not a runner at all, but that's what you have it listed as on your website. So this would be an opportunity to update the keywords on your website to attract customers who are already searching for your product by another name. You might also learn from that experience that a lot of people are searching for hallway rugs instead of runners, and maybe even more than some other rugs that you carry, and decide to carry a more variety of that product. So some things to focus on when analyzing the metrics of your SEO and SEM efforts are how your website performs. So is the page speed fast? Does your website have a solid site structure? Are search engines and users able to find it easily? Is your content engaging and properly formatted? And are you utilizing HTML best practices and descriptive keywords in the headings and meta descriptions of your pages? And I know that all of that can seem like a lot. There's definitely things that you want to think of when you're designing and optimizing your website, but if you don't have a background in programming or design, it could seem like a lot of weird little jumbly words. But there are a lot of sites that can help you through this process. One of them that I really like is HubSpot Website Grader. You essentially just type in the URL of your website into this website, and it spits out some kind of quick SEO recommendations and information about the health of your website. Social media marketing is a way to engage with your audience either through organic content or paid ads. And some success factors that come into play here are really the diversity of your content. So that would look like pictures, videos, polls, personal stories, customer stories, blogs. You really could do anything here. Another factor is the number of followers that you have. Is there positive engagement across platforms? Are you using social media channels appropriately? For example, if you're a clothing retailer, using picture and video-based channels like Instagram or Pinterest may be better than using information-based channels like Twitter or LinkedIn. And if you doubt the effectiveness of social media, know that 27% of internet users say they discover new products through paid social ads. 54% of people use social media to research products, and 90% of Instagram users say they follow business on the platform. So that truly means that customers are already opting in to learn more about your brand. And that's definitely not an opportunity that you want to waste. So you may feel like you don't have time to write out a ton of social media posts all the time, but truly your digital marketing efforts can be as large or small as you'd like them to be. You can dedicate a few hours once a month or even every 2 weeks to just write up a few posts and then schedule them using a program like Hootsuite or maybe Facebook Scheduler, which will post things for you. Content and email marketing serve as a way to keep in touch with your customers and for your customers to keep in touch with you. It can also be a way for customers to solve any customer service issues they may have with your brand. And staying in touch with your readers helps to ensure that whenever customers need a specific product or service, yours is the very first one that comes to mind. So some success factors here include providing engaging and diverse material, a lot like social media. This can include a timely blog or one that has evergreen content, maybe a self-recorded video, a podcast, an ebook, or a product demo that your brand currently has. And another big factor here is ensuring your content includes a call to action. A lot of people will write an amazing blog and then, someone might read it and just move on with their day. You don't want that, and it's a waste of your time. So that can really look like maybe a form at the bottom of your page to download some online collateral for your company, or it could be a specific keyword in a blog that links to a product on your website. You just always want to make sure that you're providing next steps for people that are engaging with your content. And going back to SEO, keyword optimization is another major factor in the success of your content marketing. Any blog or online material you produce is essentially useless if no one is able to find it. So you want to always make sure that all of that content is optimized properly. And then lastly, using metrics to track the popularity and engagement level of your content is important, and figuring out how to better engage with your customers and to ensure you're providing the information that they're actually searching for. So going back to the digital marketing lifecycle, we've kind of discussed how to attract customers and further promote your brand. And now Pam is going to explain why it's important to provide a seamless customer experience and also how businesses can put a plan into action that both delights customers and keeps them coming back to your brand.
All right, thanks, Jessica. So let's start with what's most important, which is what do customers expect of us and what matters most to them. So based on research across a variety of research sources, including our own annual customer service experience research, customers consistently tell us that there are really three things that matter most. First is providing accurate and knowledgeable information. Second is resolving their question or problem quickly and effectively. And lastly, providing personalized and caring support. And that's true whether it's on the digital channels or with live support. I think many times we think about it relative to just customer service, but it also absolutely applies on the digital channels. So what we find when we do our assessments of digital channels for our clients is that many of them are not where they need to be. The vast majority of customers are start online to find an answer, but they still end up having to call the call center even though they wanted to self-service. And that's really because they can't find what they're looking for. And based on our assessments, a lot of the issue happens to be because the websites are built for sales and not service. So all the important things that Jessica just talked about relative to making it engaging and sharing with your products and services and your values of your organization are absolutely critical. But just as important is the service experience so that you can keep that engagement going throughout their full life cycle. That remember that not only is the digital channels your front door to your business, but it can be that ongoing engagement channel on an ongoing basis as well. So when we think about digital channels, it's really important to think about them holistically, because that's really how your customer wants to experience them. So as we know, as customers ourselves, right, when we're looking for something, we commonly start with either a Google search or we go directly to a company's website to find information. So given that most websites are difficult to navigate, the chatbots have become almost a necessity to help us find what we're looking for quickly and easily. So it's really important to continuously evaluate the effectiveness of your chatbot to assess what questions are being asked, what are your customers looking for, and determining what percentage of those requests are being addressed, as well as looking at that chat information, that chatbot information, to help improve your overall website experience as well. And then, of course, live chat and messaging is becoming so much more common and popular as well. The key here, especially for live chat, is that your live chat agents need to be highly knowledgeable and really the experts. Our clients will ask us sometimes, what type of skill is needed on live chat versus in the service center. Well, this really needs to be an expert role because it's your last stop at resolving that customer issue online and in their customer's preferred digital channel before making them have to call the service centers. So the other piece is messaging and text, right? We're all getting them now, whether it's appointment reminders or whatever it might be. But messaging and text are really important because that's that proactive outbound engagement. What's going to be really important is as customers and clients expand their live chat and text messaging strategies is to make sure that that information is highly relevant, because what you don't want to have happen to live chat and SMS in the same way that happened with email. Email is a decreasing channel, right? We're all inundated with email. We all get hundreds of email a day. Last thing we want to do is go interact with a business through email. However, the reason it got to that point is because it was overused. It was overused for non-relevant sales activity, communications that might not have been valuable for the customer, and frankly, all the spam activity that comes in through email. So as you're bringing your SMS proactive chat capabilities into bear, just remember that use it for very relevant and valuable information for your customers. The other thing to mention about email is while it's not being used as much in B2C, it is still a very viable and appropriate channel for B2B customers. If you think about it, right, a B2B customer is working with their own customers all day long, and they need flexibility. If they have a quick question to one of their wholesale providers, they want to be able to put that in email and come back to it when it's an appropriate time for them. So keep that in mind if you're a B2B firm. And then, of course, phone is always going to be an important channel for your customers. It's becoming really the direct channel and a direct engagement channel for your customers directly to your company and to your brand. Because so much activity is happening on the digital channels, your products can in some cases be a little bit more commoditized. So when they do need to pick up the phone and call you, that is going to be a critical engagement point and opportunity to live your brand and drive loyalty with your customers. Keeping in mind that all of the transactional work, if we're doing this the right way, have been automated through the digital channels. So what's coming through on the phone now is a much more urgent or time-sensitive or complex issue. So the key is being able to make sure that you develop a strategy across all of these channels to leverage the strengths that they offer, but also make it easier for your customers to navigate both within and across channels to get what they need. So we also wanted to share some insights on some research with our annual research that we develop on channel preference. And this is kind of counterintuitive. We just talked about the digital channels are growing and we all as consumers want to use these digital channels. But you'll see in the research that when you directly ask a consumer, what is your channel preference for resolving customer service problems? You'll see that over 60% say that they prefer the phone channel. However, when you dig into that data and you really understand what's behind it, it's because they've tried the digital channels and they've been ineffective. The vast majority of customers, and it depends on the business and the vertical, but anywhere between 60 and 80% of the inquiries that come into the service center, the customer has already tried to look it up themselves on the digital channel. So that tells us that there's a huge opportunity to improve these digital channels. So the 60%, they're preferring phone because it's more effective today. But going forward, the better you make your digital experience, the less likely they'll have to use the phone channel. And when they do, though, it'll be a much more important and highly impactful conversation to engage with your customers. So as we analyze our clients' websites, we see them fall into really 3 different maturity categories. So the vast majority of them are highly transactional. They provide information or they provide content, but frankly, most of the time, it's very difficult to navigate, difficult to find what I'm looking for, and even the self-service is many times highly ineffective. You might have the capability, but a lot of times they can't even find it. So then the next level up has more robust search and self-service capabilities, as well as has some of the mobile app functionality, but still tends to be more fragmented than what customers are really looking for. The best website experiences are those that are highly intelligent and engaging. And what we mean by that is that when you come in and you log into a website, and again, you're going to have some that are authenticated, some that are not. So the difference between if I'm a shopper, it's typically going to be unauthenticated, right? So you don't really necessarily know who that customer is other than the tags. But once I get into the service realm of providing a great experience, you're typically logging in. So once I know who you are, the opportunity to provide a more tailored experience to who I am, give me information that's relevant to my situation, and allow for a more engaging and integrated experience, both within that website channel, but also as a front door into the rest of your organization. So that's kind of the website. So now let's talk a little bit about omni-channel, right? We all hear this term, and let's talk a little bit about what this means. So when you think about all the various channels that your customers use that we talked about before, many companies have multiple channels, but they don't necessarily have a full integrated omni-channel strategy. Most companies that we research and that we work to help move up this maturity path start in stage 2 here, where they have multiple channels. They have chat, they have email, they have phone, but they're highly fragmented and not integrated. They have separate work groups working on them. They look at the data very separately in a very segmented way. But as you move up this maturity path, you begin to start to knit that data together. So you're starting to look more holistically about what they're calling about or what they're interacting in that channel about, and how effectively you are servicing it and starting to tie it together. So let's use an example. An example is if your customer happens to be on your website looking at a particular page from a service perspective or a particular product. Imagine if when they click on live chat, they can't quite find what they're looking for, so they click on live chat. Instead of just having a general pool of live chat agents, imagine using that data that you already know about them. They're looking for this service or this product. Imagine routing it to a chat agent who's an expert in that product or service, right? So that way they can be more ready and they can see where they've been on the page so that they can pick them up. Hey, I see that you were looking at, how can I help you with that? Becomes a much more full end-to-end view of the experience. Now kind of imagine at that same live chat agent, we're chatting about a product or a service and it becomes more complex. We keep going back and forth 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And now the customer is saying, okay, now we're just not getting there. Imagine then the chat agent can say, you know what, this is a little bit more complex. How about we talk live? Let's do a click to call, where I click on I do a click to call directly from the chat. It takes me directly to the agent I was already talking to so that they can pick up that conversation right where we left off, right? So that's what we mean when we talk about an integrated, seamless omni-channel experience. Look at all of these channels through the lens of your customers. The technology is there. The technology can make this happen. The key is what are the business processes and how do you organize your organization to be able to deliver that integrated end-to-end experience across these channels. So in all of your digital channels, think about designing the solution through the lens of your customers. That's what we do. We come in and we basically are looking at your business, your channels, your experiences through the lens of your customers and your frontline service professionals as well. And in this environment, you want to understand what they're looking for. The first piece is they just want an easy to navigate, easy to understand navigation across those channels. They want you to provide information on their terms, in their language. If you look at a website, sometimes it's just interesting to look at some of the language that's used, and many times it's internal language that just is not resonating with the customer. Jessica talked earlier about search engine optimization, right? Well, you might call it a hallway runner, but if everyone else is calling it, a hallway rug or whatever it might be, you've got to look at the language that the customers are using and use that on your website. We also want to make sure that they're receiving consistent and accurate information within and across channels. Because if I'm on your website and it tells me one thing and a live chat agent's telling me something else, I'm going to pick up the phone and call, right? So look for that information, make sure it's consistent and accurate and effective across those channels. And then lastly, it really has to be relevant to their unique situation and relationship with you. I'll never forget a client that we've worked with recently that had a situation where one of their customers calling in had a 32-year relationship with that company and with that brand. And this company is a very customer-centric organization, and they recognize that. Whether I'm logging into the website and it recognizes my loyalty, when I answer the phone, the representative says, "Thank you so much for your loyalty to our brand." That is how you start to build a very engaging and personalized experience for your customers. So if you're sitting here today and saying, you know, we do have a bit of work to do, right? Our digital channels are not fully optimized. So where do we start? Well, first and most importantly, evaluating your customer's digital experience through their eyes is the very first step. Our team, as I mentioned earlier, frequently conducts mystery shopping and analysis of our clients' end-to-end digital experience from this outside-in perspective. And it's always enlightening to share with the executive team and leaders of the organization the findings, because when you look at it through that lens, you always find a wealth of opportunity for making it easier and having it be more customer-centric. There's also a ton of data that you can use. Jessica mentioned several metrics that even beyond the search engine optimization, you know, how long are they spending on a site? Where are they going on the site? Did they abandon the site? And you can now look at and knit the data together from your website all the way through to your calls. Again, the technology is there. So I want to be able to see, we were just working with another client recently that was looking they were calling it web jumpers, right? I was on the web and I called. I've got the data pool. I can knit all that information together. What site were they on? What page were they on? How did they end up getting into us? And how did we resolve their issue? Use that data and that rich information to go upstream and fix the issues that you have in your website or in your digital channels. Then creating and developing a digital strategy that really leverages all of these channels in a truly effective and integrated way. Think about it as an end-to-end experience versus a singular channel experience. And then when the full strategy might take a year or two to implement, right? There's a lot of work for us to do here. We can guarantee you're going to absolutely identify quick hits that you can action on right away. It'll make a difference, and then just keep working the plan. So bottom line is the key is to have a plan, accelerate the improvements, and then of course execute. Focus on creating a more inviting and engaging experience for your customers through these digital channels. It drives long-term loyalty, and also it reduces your overall operational costs. So those customers that are touching each of those channels, that multiple touch not only drives effort for the customer, it's driving costs all the way through your business. So you can reduce your operational costs substantially, improve the customer experience, and then the calls that do come in are, again, those higher engagement, relationship building experiences that you really want to handle with your customers. So your customers want to use your digital channels now more than ever, and that's only going to accelerate. So meet them where they are and just focus on delivering a differentiated experience for them, just one step at a time.
All right, thank you so much, Pam, and thank you again for joining us today for our very first LinkedIn Live. We hope you enjoyed the presentation and learned how to maximize your business by minimizing clicks for your customers. Also, if you'd like to learn more about us and the services that we offer, be sure to check out our website and follow us on our social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, and of course, LinkedIn. We post blogs, podcasts, videos, and lots more content.
And before we end today's event, we also want to make sure that you know how much we value your feedback. So please feel free to leave a comment in the chat. We're going to be doing these regularly, so we'd love your feedback on what you liked and what you'd like to see differently going forward. And again, we will be answering all those questions and posts from the chat shortly. We'll be doing that online. And we hope to see you again next time, and hope you all have a great day.